We're just working on a little technical thing. I have a surprise for you tonight. I can't guarantee it's going to happen. I know. But I'm going to talk about it anyway. And, ooh, no one likes the front row on this side of the room. Who knows who Gary Wilmot is? So who'd like to explain who Gary Wilmot is to those who don't know? Hi, Deborah. Awesome, love your skirt. Anyone else? Anyone like to explain?
I'd love to. He's a trotter. He's trotting across Australia, from Perth to Brisbane. Hearts across Australia.
Yeah, so I think it was 4 months he left. It was the last time we were in this room. So this is only the second time we've been in this room. Yeah. And goosebumps, tomorrow he arrives in Brisbane. I sent him a Facebook message saying, hey Gary, if you happen to be online around 9 o'clock Brisbane time, we're going to try and ring you or Google Hangout you or something. So it's destined for failure. However, I'm going to give it a crack because it's pretty exciting. He's one of our members, so just want to give him a bit of a hoo-ha, woo-hoo, whatever you want to. And we'll probably get him online and then we'll lose internet connection. So as soon as we get him online, just make lots of noise, positive noise. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do tonight because we have awesome members, and that's just an example of one of our awesome members. So thank you so much for being here, members and guests. We do have quite a few people who've let me know they will be arriving late, and that's okay. So, welcome along. For those, because we're not often down here, we're normally on the 4th floor. The toilets are out that door and you go around to the left and around the corridors and they'll be there. And I presume the blokes is around there. I didn't really go looking, so. And coffee is out in the foyer here, and food and wine we have in the room. So it's all a little bit different because the dimensions of the room are different. Hi Danny, hi Lizelle. I think I've said hello to everyone. Oh, hello, Christy. So, what we're doing tonight, this is our September meeting. We have a monthly meeting, and our theme this evening, which is always from our guest speaker. Our guest speaker tonight is Ron Gibson. He's actually doing another speaking gig tonight, and so he's finished that and let me know he's in transit on his way here, so he's on time. And he's going to talk about what is your follow-up system. He was our keynote speaker at our December party last year, and so he offered to come back because he thinks we're awesome, and we think he's awesome because he is, to give us some more practical strategies and tips around your follow-up system in relation to networking. However, I'm sure you'll be able to apply it to many other parts of the business. Chris, do you mind? Oh, you just read my mind. I love working here. And I'm calm for all the members who at times have seen me events and I'm not as calm. I'm calm, and everyone who works very closely with me says, agrees. They're going, yes, you are, Fleur. It's because we have an event manager. She is a new member called Narita. Do you want to stand up, Narita? And can everyone say hi to Narita? At the moment, I'm in love with Narita, and I'm sure that's going to stay that way. So she's learning the ropes tonight because this is the first time she's been to one of our meetings. Hi, Fran. Hi, Rob. Welcome. So I'm calm. So if something goes wrong, microphones, stuff, whatever, that's Norrie's job now, not mine. So I don't have to go limping off the stage to sort things out like I have in the past. I feel like I'm in a grown-up business. So thank you to Norrie. So moving right along, we are out of the Box Biz, and this is Cliftons is our venue partner. So we've been here since January, and they are awesome. And they're also doing all kinds of offers. They weren't opening their doors after hours, as in after 5 o'clock, but now they do. So if you run events after hours, then please let me know and I can connect you with Pete Peter Clark, who is their general manager, and he's awesome too. So what is Out of the Box Biz? Out of the Box, we connect and empower business professionals to create greater freedom, choice and opportunity in their lives, connecting them with like-minded people in an inspiring, inclusive business community. We are a business community. First and foremost, our concerns are developing you as a business professional, assisting you to grow and learn in your own professional education, and also therefore to grow your business. But also we're a community, so if stuff happens in your life, well, you know, we're there to support you to the level that you would like us to. So that's entirely personal. Some people bond really strongly with people in their business world, and some people keep personal and business quite separate. But it's up to you as the member or guest. If you're here, if you really bond with us, well, you know, you can come back as a member. We'd love to talk to you about that, and I'll talk about that later. So Out of the Box is for out of the box thinkers. We only take 120 members per capital city. So we started 21 months ago. We have around about 110. We did achieve 120 members in June, but I think there was a small core of very, very kind members who things had actually changed in their business world, and they just kind of hung in there with us so we could achieve 120, which was very nice. So we've dropped down, we're rebuilding, but that's okay because we always build to a maximum of 120. So if you're an out-of-the-box thinker and you're wanting to grow yourself as a business professional and also to grow your business through live face-to-face events, that we do once a month. So the idea is we have a common experience, a shared experience through the knowledge we learned through our expert guest speakers, Ron Gibson tonight, he'll be in the second half. And through that combined shared experience, you get to know each other, you form long-term deep relationships and therefore long-term business relationships. So that's the concept. We have 3 levels of membership, which I'll briefly describe later. So now, I know when you arrive, it's sometimes a bit of a whirlwind, and you like sit down because there's Norrie and I bossing you around saying, take a seat, and then you're like, oh, I don't even know the person I'm sitting next to. Hopefully that's what's happened. If you are consistently, members, this is to the members, if you're consistently sitting next to your mates, I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and take this opportunity to go sit next to somebody you either don't know or don't know so well. So what I'd like you to do in just a few moments is to share your name, your business, and what your follow-up system is in your business to the person next to you. If you don't have a follow-up system, perhaps share why. Any questions? No questions? Go. Does anyone have anything profound they'd like to share? Does anyone really impressed with the other person's follow-up system? Of course, Caroline. Wouldn't expect anything less. Okay, you guys are awesome. I can tell you're going to talk all night. There is going to be a break where you can talk. And we also, I forgot to tell you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to do a random speed networking kind of thing. It's like speed networking like you've never done it before. So again, that could be a failure too, but hey, I'm going to give it a go. Anyone have just went, whoa man, amazing follow-up system? Oh, Kristen, yep, she would. She's awesome. I've changed banks. Do you know how hard that is in business? Oh my goodness. Talk to Kristen, it's her fault. She's awesome. Her bank's awesome-ish, but she makes the bank awesome. So go talk to Kristen. And they're all wondering, which bank? So we go through a formal agenda, a business agenda, a copy of which is in your clipboard. It's on the back of the title page in case you're checking up on me and wanting to tick off and make sure I do all the items. And if I don't, sing out and let me know. So we're about to do, I think, Yes, a business tip. I was going to talk about ideal client journeys and ideal clients and all that, and it was this fantastic presentation, if I do say so myself, which you'll hear next month, because as I'm like about to rehearse it, you know, all this hoo-ha of the federal government change of leadership happened. And I'm not here to stimulate political views or anything, but I just thought the topic of leadership was a little bit relevant in these times. So irrespective of your thoughts, I want you to focus on the impact this change of leadership has made to you personally, or to your community, to your home, to your business, how it felt. Because leadership, I believe, hi Gail, sorry if you got lost. It wasn't your fault, it was mine. Leadership is often, the importance of it is often underestimated, overlooked, disregarded. I'm too busy, I do everything, whatever it is. Now, I want to think in your life where, because we all play different roles in our lives. So I'm fulfilling more of a leadership role within my business, but in my personal life, I'm not. Because if I did what I do in my business, I wouldn't have a personal relationship of any kind with anybody. So it's appropriate to behave in certain ways and in certain roles, you know, all over the place. So think of it when you're in a leadership role. And if you're saying to yourself, oh, I don't really have a leadership role. Well, I bet you do somewhere in your life. So challenge yourself and think about what aspect of your life you're playing a leadership role. And then think about what your leadership style might be. Before we go into that though, would anyone like to just share, just shouting out, any leadership styles that that they can think of to start off with? Inclusive? Dictatorial. Yeah! No. Kidding. I'm just happy I could repeat that back in public. You killed it, Claire. Okay, we're on a roll there. Any other leadership styles that spring to mind, good, bad, or otherwise? Yes? Controlling. Yes. Now we've gone to the negative side. Yes. Mentoring. Sorry, Martin? Inspiring. There was one over here. Visionary, I like that one. Sorry? Oh, it shows the way, demonstrates, shows by example. Connector? Sorry? Creative? Good. Are there any leadership styles that you admire, that you aspire to? Yep. Mm-hmm. Good. Oh, come back to me. La, 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 la. I don't have to go running out the door anymore. I'm so happy. Nori just did that. Okay, on my screen, which was on the screen, which will reappear back on the screen, is I've got their collaborative, open door policy, positive psychology. It's just gone to sleep. They'll, Chris knows what to do. So it's okay. Thanks, Iris. And most importantly for me, I'm talking from my personal view, what inspires me of a whole bunch of different leadership styles is tribal leadership. And I by no means pretend to be an expert in either positive psychology or tribal leadership, but I'm willing to learn. And Daniel, have you heard of positive psychology? Because it's a legitimate arm of psychology now, isn't it? Is it? Sammy? Yeah. The books I read say it is because it's written by the positive psychology people. And the reason why I'm asking Daniel is because he's a psychologist. And he's looking at me going, yeah, put me on the spot, why don't you? So, things like, they're talking about things like, they talk about in a much more scientific point of view, but they're kind of proving all those self-help books where they're talking about affirmations and gratitude journals and all those sorts of habits actually are meaningful and actually do change your mind and also your chemical makeup and all that sort of stuff. Like I say, I'm no expert in it, but I'm interested in knowing more. The same with tribal leadership, and that is the way I'm attempting to lead Out of the Box Biz, through tribal leadership. Now, I'm sharing this because I'm wanting to stimulate you thinking of yourself in a leadership role and what you do and what you admire and that kind of thing. So with tribal leadership, my understanding of it, as I say, I'm not by no means an expert on this. This is something that I do want to learn a lot more about, is about describing a culture, and therefore the participants that choose to be part of the tribe, they've kind of gone, okay, that's what it is. Yeah, am I that? Am I not that? And you kind of self-qualify and you kind of work it out for yourself. You go, yeah, I think I might be an out-of-the-box thinker. And then you decide to join. So you're empowered, you're motivated to make that decision yourself. It's not about me writing up a list of procedures and rules and things going, you must do this and you must not do that. That's not what I'm attempting to do. I'm attempting to describe when I say an out-of-the-box thinker is an out-of-the-box thinker. They come up with solutions. If they have problems, they're always trying to find the solution, but they're also open to the fact that you often don't know what you don't know. As in, we can come and listen to Ron Gibson and be open to learn something new, that kind of thing. So that's what an out-of-the-box thinker is, one aspect. Does that make sense? So that's the way I'm attempting to lead Out of the Box Biz. So what I want you to do is spend some time just thinking yourself about what your preferred leadership style is, irrespective of whether you lead that way or not. So for me, it's tribal leadership. I'm attempting to do that. So my preferred leadership style is tribal leadership. And then what I want you to do is think about just one thing. It can be the tiniest thing that you can do to improve it or implement it or change it for the better this week. Are there any questions? So this is kind of working on your own. Any questions? I'll put on some music and then we'll get a chance to share an aspect of this and talk about it afterwards. So at the moment, I just want you to think about yourself, the leadership styles you admire, you prefer, and one thing, it can be the smallest thing that you can actually implement this week to improve your own leadership style. And if you've got any questions when I put the music on, just get my attention and I'll come and answer them. Okay? Does anyone have any questions? Anyone have any massive revelations when you telepathically were sharing this with the person next to you, not because you were using words or your voice? It was just a lot of very noisy thinking going on. No, seriously. Did anyone have any major revelations that they'd want to share publicly? You can share the private ones later. No? Yeah, great. So Kirilee's, she's a makeup artist, so she's been invited to teach her craft in a school environment. So she's kind of been thrown into it, and I think what you're saying is you're delivering it, but that's not necessarily how you always want to be doing it that way. Yeah, sure. So sometimes collaboration isn't always appropriate. Sometimes just delivering knowledge is really helpful, and then you can do some group kind of reflection when people have actually learned something. So there's a place for some of these different styles. That's a really good point. Would anybody else like to share something along the lines of leadership styles? Yes.
As well about the Facebook post that we had in the group a while ago about previous leaders and looking at how that shaped the kind of leadership style that we have and talking about the ones when you were younger, where you get home and just burst into tears because you thought they hated you, and in hindsight, you think they're the ones that saw something in you that they were desperately trying to bring out, and they're probably the ones that have the best impact on us and sort of shape, that we want to grow people, and that's how we.
So you're talking about like a leader or mentor who's kind of challenged you, and you thought they were kind of attacking you, but in fact they're assisting you to break through and grow.
So they can see that we're worthy of more, or that we're positive, that we can do more, and that that's part of that sort of growth. It's interesting just in hindsight, looking back at different leadership styles.
Yeah, because when you're learning and growing, and one of my highest values, both in my personal and professional life, is lifelong learning and education. And sometimes, with myself, sometimes I just get really grumpy when I'm learning something new, and I'm just like stomping around my office, and then I'm like, I'm resisting this. I need to work through this, and then become a lot more elegant. Instead of like, kind of thing, which I've been a little of that and not as elegant, but now we're getting more elegant as I build more systems into the business. Okay, I know you've shared a little bit, but for those of you who didn't, now what I'd like you to do is either with the person next to you or someone that you've seen across the room and just go, I want to connect with you, and share with them your preferred leadership style in one short statement, and then allow them to share theirs with you. Any questions? So this is going to be a lot shorter because I want to attempt, I think it's after this, just let me see the next slide. Yep, I'm going to try and get Gary online in about a minute. Okay, so share, and then I'll let you know, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get Gary on the line. Okay, that's one way to silence the room. Hang on, I've just got to work out audio. So can you say hello, Gary?
Yeah, hello everybody.
Oh, you can see him there. Oh, he can't see. Oh, okay, I'll turn you around, Gary, sorry. Oh, so I need help. So when you hold that in front of that speaker, this is going to end in disaster.
Hey, listen, hey everybody. Hello.
It's all attached, so I can't I'll leave you like this. So Gary, how are you?
I'm very, very, very well, thank you, Fleur.
I bet you're knackered.
I'm actually not doing too bad. I've spent the last week just cruising slowly up through the Gold Coast and reducing my daily kilometres. So it's a bit of an easy 7 days really compared to the previous previous 17 weeks. So I'm feeling good, and I'm really pumped and excited for tomorrow.
So what's reducing kilometres? What's the average now compared to what it was?
I've been kind of doing 50 to 55 kilometre days mostly, and so this week we've just been, some days I've only been doing 20, 25 kilometres, and some days up to, like today I did about 36, 37. So it's funny to say it, but it's actually just an easy day for me compared to doing 55. I think there were 3 days we even did 60 Ks because we need to make some time up.
Isn't 55 more than a marathon? Yeah.
42.2 is a marathon. So anything over that is an ultra marathon. So pretty much an ultra marathon most days for 17 weeks.
So you've still got legs and feet?
Yeah, I'm amazed actually. My feet are still intact, and I've had some soreness. Like my calluses, I've got calluses, but I've stayed on top of everything, and I've when the little blisters have appeared, I've sort of managed them and been really paranoid about it. My legs have held up. All the training and preparation that I did really sort of stood me in good stead, and because there's been so much walking involved, the impact's been minimised. Obviously, the shoes I've been wearing have been awesome. So, it's just it's gone to plan, it's gone to schedule. There's been a couple of little hiccups and a couple of little funny stories along the way, but on the whole, it's been amazing. It's been it's actually worked how I thought it would.
Oh, fantastic. So we're on the eve before you walk, run, whatever it is you're going to do into Brisbane?
That's right, yeah. We're currently sat in the camper van, and I think we're about 23 k's outside of Brisbane.
So, how long does it take them? When did you leave?
Left on May the 16th.
Because
So
do you remember the
this is what it's taking.
Do you remember the room, the meeting room we were in for your very last out of the box meeting downstairs with the red wall?
Yep.
We're in the same room for the second time tonight.
Wow.
Oh, well, it's meant to be. It's the red wall, Hearts Across Australia, Heart Foundation, you see.
Exactly. So I'll just quickly ask if anyone's got any quick questions, and then we'll let you go because I'm sure you're knackered because it's about 9 o'clock over there.
I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Does anyone have any quick questions? Ed?
How many pairs of shoes have you gone through?
How many pairs of shoes have you gone through?
The question. I'm currently, I've got 2 pairs that are currently on rotation. They're pair number 9 and 10.
That's not bad going. Michelle?
Hi, how much preparation did you have to do before doing this?
How much preparation did you
Training.
do, training before you did this?
Well, realistically, the bulk of it was, I don't know, there were many, I can't remember how, I'll have to go back and consider. I literally, I think, it would have been about a year ago that I was just coming back from, I had a hernia op, and I came back from that. I was allowed to start training again in, towards the end of August last year. So it's pretty much been a year ago that I started training. Sort of spent about a month building up to being able to do full training, and then started working towards being able to do the ultra distance. And then I did, the main training was actually a period of 4 months. I did, each month I identified a 50k or roughly 50k ultra marathon, and then built some training around that so that I would run. I think like the last one I did, and is Peter behind the camera today?
Yes.
Because Peter will actually remember that he came down on the final day when I did my Bunbury 50k ultra. I actually then spent 3 days walking back from Bunbury to Perth. That was the final sort of training session that I did. So it was structured around building some big weekends, because obviously you've got to fit it in. I'll do like cover 100 k's on foot in say 4 days, and just building it up like that. So yeah, I'd say probably from say September last year, it was just building up, and it then sort of like the final 4 months. With those ultras, and then I think between the middle of April last year, the middle of April this year, and the middle of May when I left, I did next to nothing, because just getting ready to actually go and let my body recover. So yeah, it takes a bit of effort, it takes a bit of preparation, but doing all that preparation has really paid off.
Excellent. Veronica?
What sort of diet helps you keep your energy levels up for that period of time through the day? What do you eat?
I mean, actually, like what I'm eating at the moment, or in training?
No, now, while you've been doing this
Right.
17
Right now, I've got the most disgusting, filthy, dirty diet. I've lost a little bit of weight, but I've managed to, because basically I'm burning so many calories, it's really a case of having to keep the fuel, keep the intake coming in, because it's not a great thing to be trying to actually lose weight, even though I thought I might use it to lose a little bit more. Generally, it's quite a decent breakfast, quite a decent lunch. It's just normal food. But I do supplement. I basically use I take Usana meal replacement shakes as my recovery shakes. So that's like increasing the calories. But when I'm walking along, and I think like going across the Nullarbor, for instance, whenever you came across a roadhouse, or there's an opportunity to eat a meat pie, or a bag of lollies. You take it because you want some decent, you want some food that tastes nice, you want some comfort food, because it's like 50 k's a day, you want a little bit of comfort, but lots of calories and very limited in the options that you can actually eat. So it's relatively normal food, there's nothing special, and it's trying to get as many calories in as possible, because obviously if you don't get enough calories, there's no way you're going to be able to do this day in, day out. I hate to think how many calories I'm actually consuming, but I've not lost an awful lot of weight.
Any final question? Yeah.
Yeah, have you organised where you're going to stay? Because if you kind of walk 23 kilometres, but maybe the next day you do 50, or how is that working?
Did you plan where you were staying?
So I had when the support crew came on board, I sort of literally told them, I said, look, I've got the first 3 weeks planned. Then that's it. I said, beyond that, I've got a rough idea of the distances we're going to be covering. We've got a rough idea how long it's going to take. Well, I know exactly how long it's going to take. I had some ideas that had come from somebody else's blog, a guy that had walked from Perth to Sydney, bounced an AFL ball. And he was covering a similar sort of distance each day. And reading his blog, particularly the Nullarbor section, and it kind of just reassured me that everything was possible. But we would literally, we'd generally plan ahead, depending, really sort of, we planned out the first 3 weeks, and that was, beyond that, it was then planning a couple of days ahead, because it would be, you know, we knew that like weather might impact us, or different issues might impact us, and we'd just look at, you know, what I felt capable of doing that day. And there's an app called WikiCamps, and you can look on there and you can kind of see where there's rest areas, where there's campsites, and where there's caravan parks. Ironically, the easiest part of the whole journey was Nullarbor, the bit that I was scared of the most. Once you hit once you get to Norseman, you go to the BP servo, they've actually got a piece of paper that gives you all the road houses and distances. So I just had my plan for the 26-day period that it took to cross the Nullarbor. It was all just kind of there. I just worked out, so I knew we're doing X kilometres a day. So we're going to have, this day we're going to get to that roadhouse, and then we're going to have 2 days where we need unpowered in the camper van, and then we'd reach this roadhouse. So yeah, it's just been on the fly, pretty much reacting to conditions, and but having an overall idea of what we were going to do.
All right, thank you, Gary. We think you're absolutely awesome. A little crazy, but I'll talk. Good luck for tomorrow, and the big official end is on Saturday.
That's right. Yeah, we're actually we arrive in Brisbane tomorrow, but we're going to get to. It's funny. I'm doing. Going to get to Brisbane tomorrow, and I'm going to get to the start line of South Bank Park Run. Then Friday we take the camper van back and sort out a few bits and pieces. Saturday I do a 5k park run, which is called, like, the finals of the 5ks of the whole thing. It's a bit of a victory for that. And then Sunday I'm going to Wynnum, Twilight Bay, and I'm running a half marathon. As you do.
Thank you, Gary. We'll talk next week about an event when you come back home, but I think everyone will just want to say a final goodbye and cheers.
See you, Fleur. See you when you're back.
See ya. Oh my God, we did it! How good does he look? Oh my goodness, he's a madman. All right. Well, I wasn't really sure that was going to work at all, so I'm still recovering from that. So, thank you. I hope that was as exciting for you as it was for me. So he's one of our members. So anyway, moving right along. So that's him. That's his camper van, who we've just. So he was in that camper van right now doing that interview. And now, one of my most favourite moments in the evening is always our 5-minute showcases, where 2 of our members hit the stage and tell us a little bit about themselves and a little bit about what they do. And Christy, you're up. So can you make her welcome? And I'm going to get Christy to talk about what she does, because she's had a bit of a change in direction, but I don't know if you're going to talk about that, so I'm going to leave it up to you. You've got 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Well, hi everyone, and thanks for having me here, and thanks Fleur for this opportunity. So basically my background is actually in education and psychology, and for 6 years I had the best job in the whole world, well, I thought it was. I got to work with kids who were considered to be at risk socially, emotionally and academically, and special needs kids, and I loved that. And then I took what I thought was going to be a fairly short break, having my son. The universe had other ideas, and a few years later I had my daughter, and I've been stay-at-home mum for a while. And then somewhere between the sleep deprivation and the postnatal depression, I started to experience something that I've realised is very, very common for a lot of women, and that was guilt. I felt guilty when I was with my children. I felt guilty when I was at work. I felt guilty if I was at home playing with the kids and not getting the housework done. I felt guilty if I did the housework and didn't play with the kids. It didn't matter what I was doing, I had this cloud of guilt hanging over my head. That sort of culminated to overwhelm, and I wound up in a bit of a bad place for a little while. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. And I was talking to a lot of women at the time, and I realised that they were experiencing something very similar to me. They may have used different words. A lot of them said, I wish I had better work-life balance. I wish I had more hours in the day. I wish I could get off this treadmill or out of this hamster wheel and start to really live. It didn't matter how they were languaging it, the message was the same, because really, I don't know about you guys, but it gets to 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, I don't wish that there were more hours in the day, because I'm knackered, okay? We know that work-life balance, it's not a real thing, it doesn't exist, and even if it did, that's not what we want. What we really wanted, what I found I wanted, and I've realised a lot of other women wanted too, was to get rid of the guilt, to get rid of the overwhelm, to get rid of the stress, the anxiety, the frustration, to get rid of that inner critic, that voice inside that's constantly going, am I enough? Am I good enough? Am I going to be accepted? What are other people thinking of me? Jenny down the road runs 5Ks every day. She's got 10 kids and 3 jobs and like, look at me. And the women are laughing and the men are like, what? Because they don't have that same mindset. But we as women are incredibly good at beating ourselves up. So I thought, there has to be a better way than this. I cannot live the rest of my life like this. So I started to study positive psychology. It's interesting that Fleur mentioned that this evening. I believe it's a real thing. I did. I studied positive psychology, coaching, mindset, human behaviour, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, metadynamics, thought dynamics, all that cool stuff. Some of it's new, some of it's been around for decades, and I started to apply it to my own life. And the change was phenomenal. I actually felt like the haze lifted and that I could breathe. For the first time in a really long time, I felt like I could breathe. And I thought this has to be shared with other people because, like I said, everyone was saying the same things, using different words, but saying the same things. So I started Your Life Balance. Now, we know life balance doesn't exist, but this was what a lot of people were saying they wanted. And Your Life Balance is twofold. The first bit, and I believe the most important bit, is about working with mindset. It's about helping people to get to where they want to be in life. Because, get this, they reckon that 90% of all success starts in your mind. It starts between your ears. Truly, 90%. The rest is what you do, and that's important too, but 90% is your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not on the right trajectory to get to where you want to go. So that's the first thing and the most important thing I believe that I work with. The second part is the structure. Because when you have the great mindset, that's awesome, but you need structure to make sure that whatever you're implementing into your life is going to be sustainable for the long term. You need to be making sure that you're doing the things that are going to get you the best results, the best success for your business, the best success for your relationships, for your family, for your life. So that's basically Your Life Balance. And as Fleur alluded to, I've actually started a second business as well, because what I didn't expect was that a short time after I started Your Life Balance, probably about 18 months after I started Your Life Balance, a really good colleague of mine came to me and she said, look, my life's wonderful. Everything's going great. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. She said, but my son is having trouble. Can you help him? And my first response was, I actually haven't worked with youth for quite a while. So let me see if there's someone else in Perth who's doing similar to what I do, and I'll refer you. And I was looking around and not finding anyone. And while I was looking, another mum approached me and said, Christy, please can you help my son? He's also having difficulty. And I thought, what am I doing? You know, I have a background in teaching. I've worked with these kids for years. So I started Skills for Kids, which was about empowering young people one-on-one. So it's one-on-one coaching with young people and working in small groups with young people. And then the mums were coming to me and saying, so why isn't this in schools? And I thought, well, that's a good point. So I've actually now been employed by some schools as of next term to come and run professional developments for their teachers to teach them how to do what I do so that their kids in their classes can get the best results as well. So that's basically my two businesses. There's Your Life Balance and Skills for Kids. So thank you so much for your time. And I hope I stuck to time.
Woohoo, she's bang on time. No pressure, Martin. So I think most people will know out-of-the-box thinker Martin Ball as the dude with the sexy water. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Please make him welcome.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there, but it's all right. No, I'll make it live. Oh, yeah, make it, yeah, please. Ah, cool. Good evening, everyone. Obviously, my name's Martin, and I just want to take you back 20 years from this moment now. I was 14, so I've given away my age, and I was invited to go on a work experience at a gym because my teachers told me I should be a fitness instructor, and that's what I wanted to do. I was very passionate, very sporty, and I went down that road, and when I got there after the 2 weeks, I got told I did a fantastic job. However, do not go into the industry. So I was a little bit confused at 14 what I should do. I followed what was my dad's passion, which was carpentry, and continued to do that. And that's why I arrived in WA, because I got in with my skill. 2-3 years down the line, still being self-employed, enjoying it. I actually had a few injuries, and I got an opportunity to go and work in the mines as a PT, which I jumped at the chance. I was finally getting to do my passion. However, it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. I went up there, and what they were preaching didn't quite sit in with what my beliefs and my values. Seeing people suffering with depression, and as a fitness coach up there, health coach, you have to deal with that. So you're not a psychologist, you're not trained to deal with that. However, if anybody's got a personal trainer and you're very well connected, and a lot of trainers have lost the personal side of it, be connected, a lot of people tend to open up and talk to the trainers about stuff. So it got quite full on for me, and with the change of management, I actually had 2 mental breakdowns and got removed from the island. So I suffered with depression to the suicide level, so it's pretty bad. This is only last year. I put on a lot of weight and I ended up in hospital. So I had to obviously have a whole new outlook on where my life was going. And it started with personal development. I was really focused on that. A few messages from God. I'm not big into the church, but a few random messages through personal development, through God, kept me here today. I genuinely believe that. So I knew then that I was on a new journey. And what was that journey going to be? I came back to Perth, obviously from being away, recovered. I say I came back, it was like I was born again. And I started my journey with what we call Energize Mind Body. And that is 4 pillars of health. And Christy just spoke about it first. So number 1 is mindset. I'd always gone the opposite. I'd always focused on how good this looked, walking along the beach. And yes, in the UK, I did live by the beach. And always focused on looking pretty good. Never focused on this. However, with my journey, I now focus, number 1, mindset. What people are doing within their life, how they can perform better just within themselves. Because if you don't look after yourself, forget about everybody else. And how many here think about everybody else over themselves? Because I know I was doing that. Okay, I had to go back. Second is hydration, which I'll get to in a minute. Third is nutrition. What are we fueling our body? Okay, because that's so important. It was funny listening to Gary, who was talking about, I think you asked the question about what he eats. And clearly he's just throwing whatever he can in to get through this, and good on him. But it is really, really key, okay, what we put in. It's so important. I know I've spoken to Tim prior about this when I first met him. And then finally, exercise. A lot of people think, okay, and I know this from the clients that we have through, I need to lose weight. I'm going to get the runners on. I'm going to go and get fit. That's one of the worst things you can do, because your ligaments, your tendons, they just are not designed to go from being sedentary to going out there, okay? We've got to build up to that. And a lot of people end up falling off the wagon because they plateau, they have, I'm having McDonald's, I can't be bothered. That's it, it's all over for me, okay? The final thing is supplementation, actually, okay? However, because most people want a quick fix, supplementation comes first, okay? Well, the reality of it is if we could get all those 4 key things first, supplementation can come at the end if it is needed. I do not take supplements anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. One of the key reasons is exactly for this reason that you can see here. Does anybody know what that is? Can anybody tell me? Whiskey? So, but basically, this is just showing the acidity of the drinks. Who would have thought that coconut water would be as acidic as Coke? Yep, this is coconut water here. So all that I'm trying to say to you guys is the body, okay, stores acid in the tissues. I'm just going to rush now because Fleur's wanted to get back up. When we drink, and most of us here will obviously work a business and sat in a chair, drink water and get up and move. Because when you're sat in your chair and you're crushing your tissues, the water cannot flow throughout the body. So you're not getting effectively hydrated, and that's why you'll be going to the toilet and weeing it out, okay? The way we perform is correct hydration, and I can talk more about correct water later on, okay? Thank you. I didn't stay up any longer.
You're awesome. I was actually putting my hand up because I was very proud that I knew what that was, and then I realised it was your 1 minute warning anyway. Anyway, I'm scaring my own presenters. Okay. Yes, so go find out more from Martin later. Martin may need to just come back and, oh no, this is where the bit I love about technology. Okay. All right. Oh, I knew, yeah, okay. All right, we're back on track. So I just want to mention to members that I have been calculating better monthly pricing because if members are wanting to commit to a 3, 6 or 12 month term. And the reason why I'm doing that is because now we've been around for almost 2 years, bless you. We're demonstrating value. I think a lot of you are receiving value, whereas before when I started the business and it was rolling month to month, I just needed us to prove that we're worthy of your time and commitment and membership. I believe we're demonstrating that. So if you're a member that is interested in finding out more about a better pricing per month, if you're interested in committing to a 3, 6 or 12 month period, then please come and let me know at another time. I just wanted to make sure you all knew that. And next. So, for the guests in the room, we are a membership organisation, so we encourage people to attend regularly as members. And there's 3 levels. The little top one is not for Perth Metro. Our bronze online membership is only for outside Perth Metro because we are wanting to build our membership nationally. Once we receive about 30 to 40 members in another capital city, then I will seek a master networker for that capital city and we'll build 120 membership over there. So that's what that's all about. But basically to be in the room regularly in Perth, it's silver, gold or platinum. Platinum's only 10 people only. It's one-to-one mentoring with me. It's only available for existing members and for very, very niche areas of my expertise. It's not business coaching. I do not do what the fantastic business coaches in the room do. It is very much mentoring. If you want to know about that, members, I've got one place that's recently become available. But basically, to get in the room, it's silver. If you'd like to know more, I normally would give you the information, but my printer failed. And Nick Schmackhoff from Rescue Computer, whatever his business is called, rescued my printer, but not before I could print out the documentation for the guests. So my apologies there, but if you're interested in knowing more, I'd be more than happy to provide that to you via email and just have a quick conversation with you to see if this is going to work for you, because it's not for everyone. So, oh my goodness, what a month. I put this up, typos and all, on Facebook, and I knew I'd miss somebody because we have such incredible high achievers as our membership. And this month alone, well, Gary's about to achieve his insane, I think, goal, but he's doing it. Amazing, amazing individual. Tomorrow, that's why I was so excited to get him on the computer to chat just then. Brett Easton, very, very humble, quiet achiever. And he won, you know, is this CEBA, is the Central Eastern Business Association, CEBA. They just go by CEBA, don't they? He won. Who knew? And I'm like going, you won. You got to tell people. So we've been telling everyone. He's unfortunately couldn't make it this evening, but he's very, very appreciative of us celebrating his achievement. Tracy Loebscher, she a winner again in the Peel District Awards. She's a multi-award winner for Business Awards. Kirsten Baus took out the inaugural District 32 Business Awards. I got a look in as to what the application process was like. It was onerous, it was challenging, and if you didn't want to grow going through that, you did. Didn't you, Jen? Because Jen was one of the finalists. So, and unfortunately I couldn't be there on the evening, but I heard rave reviews about all 6 finalists. So congratulations to you, Jen and Kirsten, through Daniel, because Kirsten couldn't be here this evening. And Nina Kaminsky took out Real Mark Outstanding Sales Award. So awesome, awesome, all of you. And round of applause for those achievements and for yourselves in your own achievements this month. Just quickly, I'd just like to invite Claire Whitelaw Brown, and then after her, I know I spoke to somebody, and it was Michelle Skeen, to do the raving fan. So whoever, girls, who gets to the stage first, you've got a minute. I love your cool dude glasses, honey. Is that because they're, yeah, they're prescription sunglasses. So round of applause for Michelle Skeen for Focus West Property.
Thanks, Fleur. So I think we were talking today about the fact that a chap called me yesterday inquiring about, I have to think here for a second. It was to do with a new business that you were developing. Coaching, thank you. And I'm thinking, okay, who can I refer this person to? And Fleur Allen's name popped into my head. So that progressed to probably another 2-minute conversation, and whatever I had to say had you call Fleur, and here you are. So I suppose the point is, if you're out there and you're talking to people perhaps that are starting a new business, perhaps it's in an area where they may not share the same end client that you have, how can you still assist and spread the love? And Out of the Box, I think, is a classic example of how we can do that, because we all have our client bases, and it's not necessarily that we're going to be selling to each other, is it? It's that we might be selling through each other to our respective clients. So whenever I'm out there at the coalface talking to potential clients, I'm always sort of got my ear out peeled for other people in my network that I might be able to refer them on to. So that's it.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for thinking us out of the Box Biz, and thank you, Marcus, for coming along. And a round of applause for Claire Whitelaw Brown, CWB Business. Yes, you say it.
CWB Business Growth Strategies. Yeah, I just wanted to say, really today, a big thank you to Fleur. I've only moved to Perth in March, earlier on this year. So when I moved to Perth, I went around and I joined, I went and visited lots of different networking groups. But when I came to Out of the Box Biz, I thought, I want to join her tribe. And it's been awesome. Fleur is an awesome networker and an awesome connector. And she's connected me with all sorts of different business owners since I've been a member of Out of the Box. And it's been great because I've met some awesome people. I've been able to refer people to members. And I've also got to work with some amazing, audacious business women as well. So if Fleur tells you to go and meet somebody, there's a reason for it. And if you do, then and you make the effort to follow up, it's like in everything in life. If you get out what you put in, and yeah, I'm following her.
Oh, thank you. I never know what they're going to say, but thanks, both of you, lovely ladies. And yes, follow-up has come up, and we're going to get a lot of follow-up strategy system from our guest speaker, Ron Gibson, and the not too distant future. We're doing this speed networking thing. It's really going to be very experimental now because I didn't allocate a lot of time to Gary because I wasn't actually sure it would work. So we've got a little bit less time, but I'm just going to go with the flow and go with it anyway and just see what happens. Are you okay with that? So, I haven't done this before. That's my overarching caveat, and that's what I say to anybody in public speaking. Never get up and say that. But anyway, I've just done that. So, what I want you to think about, because we've had a change in season, and spring and summer, you know, an optimistic season, I feel. I want you to think about, personally for you, what is your favourite season? So, spring, summer, autumn or winter. And think about why. Then what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask the spring people to move to that corner of the room, the summer people to this corner of the room, autumn around about-ish here, autumn I was up to, winter here. When you do that, I want you to share amongst yourselves the reason why this is your favourite season. So there's no deep and meaningful catch to this. This is just a different way to get to know other people. It's like talking about favourite movie stars, favourite leaders, you know, that kind of thing. So it's a bit of fun. So if you want to have put in some other deeper meaning into this activity, sure. I'm going to get you to do something else after that. Before you move, are there any questions? The purpose of this is to network, to get you to move around the room and to meet different people. That is the purpose of this, just in case some of you are going, are you crazy? You can think that anyway, but that's the purpose. No questions? Go.